Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Welcome on in. Today is Saturday, February 24th, 2024. So that's 22424. If y'all like patterns, you might find one there. Let's go ahead and get started. We got ourselves a great show today. It's going to be legs, it's going to be volume, and it's going to be a lot more similar to the older style push-pull leg workouts we were doing before I started bulking. So not quite 70s powerlifter today. We're going to go high volume. Not quite as heavy on the weights either. We're going to go back up 2 sets of, I think, 10 today. Yeah, should be a really good show. Go ahead and get started. Back down. Appropriate location. Move the bar up to its appropriate location. Chilly in here. Get started with a few jump ropes to begin. So I only ended up having like 2,600 calories yesterday. I was trying to get a balance of hitting maintenance target and hitting all of my, kind of doing it. That's not good. There's a random screw on my floor. Did that fall off the bench maybe? Huh. It's never good when you find random pieces of hardware next to where your bench was just at. So give me just one moment here while I... Yep, that's exactly where it was. Fell off the seat. Alright, I'll fix that later. Just gotta get it finger tight for now. But start with some jump rope. Turn this over to fix it. Yeah, it's not the only thing on this bench coming loose. That's okay. That's not a huge problem. We can fix that fairly easily. There we go. Yeah, I see where it came out. So let's move you over here. That looks about right. So as I was saying, perfect. As I was saying, we got squat today. We got quite a lot of volume to do. Got a general idea of how I want to go about it. All right, here we go. So yeah, we got squats, we've got calves, obviously. We're gonna do one, makes sense to do the other. I'm gonna do trap bar deadlifts today. We have not done trap bar deadlifts in months, and I wanna rectify that. Probably gonna do front squats as well today. That's gonna be probably the bulk of what we do, maybe some lunges, maybe some abs, and then some probably pullovers and raider pulls, just because I like those. That's probably about where we're going to start. So, first set, we got to warm up facing y'all. Since it's only the bar, doesn't really matter too much. We'll go high bar, just kind of warm things up, get nice and deep. You know, it's a bit of an odd angle looking at me this way for a change on a squat, but And you know, obviously, right, that's just a buck. That's just a bar, so it's not much. We'll do a buck 25. We'll do another warm-up set at that. We'll do a set of front squats as well. I think maybe we'll do a set of front squats at 215 since we'll happen to have that weight on there anyway. Nah, I want to do the real Mishpuka first. That's probably the wiser call. Morning Kentucky feels like a knife. It's cold, y'all. Phil's fan thought you were in DC. No, that's next week. For those of you who don't know, I'm going up to the DC metro area next week. I'm gonna go. The biggest reason is because, as y'all know, and I actually do have some new news on this front. I'm going to be exiting South Carolina in the coming months, and as such, this is going to be my last time. You know, whichever job I take, it's going to be out west, and it's going to be my last time to see some of my relatives on the East Coast and my dad, who's in Arlington. If you catch my drift, so that's something I feel as though I really need to do. So I'm going to do that next week. Shouldn't be too hard. Go ahead and we'll hit another set of high bar just because it's feeling good. I kind of actually like doing my warm-up sets this week so I can really get a good monitor for what my form looks like from a front perspective. Oh. Okay, there we go. There we go. Just warm up sets, don't need to go too crazy. Do a couple more of this. 215. There we go. Nice. While I'm doing that, tighten up some of these screws. One of these screws fell out of the seat of my chair, that's not ideal. We don't want that. The way we warm up those. Hey, thank you very much for the 50 biddies there, Phil's fan. That's very much obliged. That's very kind of you. There we go. Yeah, I'll just get a screwdriver and tighten those up next step. Okay, so not really necessary to wear a belt at just 215. You know what, I don't think I will. I'll wait until working weight until I do that. That's probably a wiser call anyway. So we're just doing sets of 10 today. Shouldn't be anything too crazy. I may, for one or two sets, I may move you over to the side just for, you know, reference on form. Probably won't do that for all of them. But for this one, I'm going to go ahead and get low bar rep. Trying to get feel for everything there. 2, 3, 4. Should look good. Let me know if you see anything that might be problematic in future sets. There we go. Alright, so we get our working weight on here. I think I'm going to go for 5 by 10 at 315. we'll see. You know, if I decide it's a little bit too much, I can always go down weight. I think 315s, you know, after all that maxing done, you know, all those low rep, high intensity, high weight sets, I think 315 is probably a solid place to start. Really kind of get a good feel for things. So we go from there. The other thing I'm going to do is grab these here 25s, bring them over, not to use quite yet, but to use once I'm done the first set, so that way I can superset with calves. This is something I like to do because you already have the weight loaded up at a fairly high number for your squats, so you might as well rack it, and when you're done, you know, get some toe raises in. It makes sense to do it that way. I think I'm gonna move you guys a bit further in too. I feel like y'all are actually a bit too far away. If the bar looks crooked, your shoulders are misaligned, or you're a masochist. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. See, am I? Yeah, it looks like y'all are about at the center. Maybe a touch crooked. There we go. Let me, oh yeah, y'all are a bit well, it's the camera's misaligned. It's not, the camera's not on center. Let's try and fix that. That's probably about right. We go right about like that. That seems about straight. No, I'm definitely not trying to have bad form. The bar was at a slight angle. Oh, yeah, okay, so on that last set, I did notice that. I think when I unracked it a bit, it was slightly off kilter because I noticed when I racked it, one of the weights had slid out. That won't happen this time because I put clips on it. I was just being lazy and I didn't put clips on it last time, which is on me. I should have done that. So, go ahead and, yeah, that's about right. Yeah, no, that's a good thing to mention. That's on me though. I should have taken the warm-up set slightly more seriously. Okay. Okay, let's get some, what I do need to do is get some music going for this. This is 315, this is a fairly heavy set. So yeah, we'll get a little bit of music going here. So otherwise, how's your morning going? Phil's fan, for those of y'all who are in here, I can talk a little bit more about what's going on. I'll explain a bit more after the set, but I have more or less received notice that the security clearance processing section of the onboarding process for my future job is done. And as a result of that, I'm going to be, probably starting my next job somewhere in the probably April, May, June timeframe. Most likely no earlier than May. That's fantastic news for me because I was really hoping to not have to rush out there. I kind of had to do that for the transition between my job in Texas and the job here. Like, my last day in Texas was February 15th, 2021, and I started here March 1st, 2021, and that just was not enough time really to get myself settled in a way I liked it. And this, I'm going to be at best traveling across the continent to get to Washington State, which is 3,000 miles, or potentially going all the way to Hawaii, which is 5,000 miles from here. And to do that on just a couple weeks that's adding extra stress I don't want or need in my life. So the good news is I think my future employer understands that I'm coming from the Southeast, so I think they're a little bit lenient on picking a time. which is also great for me because, well, there are some reasons I want to, first off, my 401k doesn't fully vest until March 1st of this year. We're just a week from that, so that's more or less guaranteed going to happen. But there is also a little bit more to that saga coming on at the end of March, and I'm going to talk about that, but I'll go a bit more into detail on that after this set. I need to get going. It's already 9:20. We haven't even done our first working set. All right. I should probably move this out of the way so you can actually see me. There we go. Oh, I need to take more time. Form was not good on the last one. Did not like it. Nicked my arm too. All right, calves. Oh. Nice. That felt good. That felt good. I need to repair this bench. Screws are coming loose. Just in my toolbox. Here we go. Yeah, the screws are coming a bit loose. Starting to fix that. Tighten them all up. Yeah, this one's real loose. There we go, get on down in there. Very nice. So that felt pretty solid. I think what I'm gonna do, actually while I'm here, to tighten up all these other screws. Probably a wise call. Yeah, all of these are loose. So we'll handle that real quick. Oh yeah, this one's very loose. Nice, it's gonna be way less creaky and wobbly now. That needed to be done probably a while ago, but it's good now. So now at least I have a place I can sit. What was that, a slight angle, like left versus right when you're saying slight angle? Or was that last set? Oh, I don't know if y'all could hear that. That was my, oh, my spine. Woo! Okay. So, what was I was talking about, oh yeah, my trip up to DC. So that's happening next week. It's, the biggest reason is I want to see my relatives, but most importantly, I want to go to Arlington one last time. This is going to be the last time I get to see my dad's headstone for probably a good long while. You know, regardless of if it's Washington or Hawaii, I mean, that's a lot of traveling to get back to DC. So, you know, here, yeah, it's a pretty long schlep up from South Carolina, but it's a lot better than Washington. It's certainly a lot better than Hawaii. So I'm gonna do it. I always found it ironic. My dad grew up in Fairfax County, Virginia. And through his career, he said the jobs he hated the most was working at the Pentagon. And lo and behold, he did accept the honor of getting, you know, the full burial with rites and everything in Arlington, which is right next to the Pentagon. There was always a great irony in that. No, the joke is, so my parents retired out to Washington State, and they said, yeah, this is about as far away as we could be from Washington, D.C. while staying in the country. It's a DoD job. You'd always take a space-safe flight to D.C. That's true. I wouldn't be that far from Joint Base Lewis McChord in Washington. I wouldn't be that far from Hickam Air Force Base in Hawaii. So that's very true. But, right, it's still a 4-hour or an 11-hour flight. No matter how you cut it. Hey, what's up, Umair? All right, I'm gonna psych myself up. We're gonna do, well, not even psych myself up. I'm just gonna fucking hit it. Actually, what I'm gonna do is move the 25s, put on the 10s, and go for a little bit more quad drive, a little bit more heel elevation here. Forward, bring it back maybe 2 inches per. That seems about right. So a little heel elevation. This is just like 3/4 of an inch. If I put my heels up like that, what that's going to do is allow my spine to stay more vertical, put more strain on my quads, which is what I want to do. I want to get them hockey legs. Worked at the Pentagon for 6 years, Semper Fi. My father was stationed at the Pentagon from, I believe it was fall of 1998 to summer of 2001, and he was in the section of the Pentagon that got destroyed on 9/11. So if it wasn't for divine providence, I could have lost my dad at 6 instead of at 25. You want to wonder why I believe in God? There you go. Hell, given that, you know, it took cancer 3 times to take my dad down, I could have easily not ever existed if my dad hadn't fucking beat cancer the first time or the second time. My dad was Desert Storm, served. It's annoying. It's the joke in our family is Dad always wanted to see the Algarve, and they were stationed at RAF Bentwaters in Britain in 1990. And they had a big plan to go, my mom and my dad, sort of as their honeymoon, had a big plan to go to the Algarve in Portugal, and then Saddam's bitch ass invaded Kuwait, and then that didn't happen. So, eat a dick, Saddam. All right. think that was 6. Nah, it's all good. I'm never upset that I lost my dad at 25. I'm grateful that I had him until then. Gordon, good to see you. Trying to raise my power level. Does anyone get that emotion? I think we all are. Isn't that why you lift? You're more powerful? Let me go ahead and hit a Raider full set, I think. Come on, 5 more. It's 20. Okay. Okay. I think I'm debating on whether or not I want to do 4 or 5 sets on that. Do you keep the bar on your neck? No. I don't know if you can tell from this angle, but I'm doing a low bar squat. So when I'm doing a low bar squat, I'm creating a shelf with my scapula and keeping the bar on that. So I'm squeezing my upper back together to create a shelf such that it's not on my traps or my neck. How much weight is that? That is 315 pounds. Yeah, so my dad, I've talked about this a lot on my stream, but my father was a major influence in my life. You know, we never saw eye to eye on everything, but the longer I live, the more I realize how right he was about a lot of stuff. Definitely the best role model I could have ever asked for. And again, I wouldn't trade the 25 years I had with my father with a lifetime with anybody else as my father. Not even close. So but I'm never, people ask me about this, I'm never upset, or I never feel like I've been cheated that I lost my dad at 25, because there are people who got far less, both in terms of quality of a father and time. So, and I know this firsthand. I grew up in a military family. There were good men who got sent to Iraq, Afghanistan, didn't come back. It's also why this is the primary reason that I support reinstating the draft here in the United States. I know that's an extremely unpopular opinion, but when I say reinstate the draft, I mean none of this bullshit you can buy your way out with college or with money thing. So my dad died when we were 15. Yeah, see, that's far more tragic. One of my best friends in the whole wide world lost his around that age too. And he was also military, but he was a pastor. So he was a chaplain. Chaplain is the military term. But you know, you want to talk about guys like, holy shit, the guys that they're the ones out there saving lives. I mean, being a warrior, right? You know, being that military fighter protecting your country, sometimes you have to see and do shit that civilians can only dream of. Well, the chaplain's the one who gives comfort to those brave soldiers in their time of need. Nostalgic Rogue, what about if you were kicked out? Kicked out of what? Also, thanks for the first time chat. Welcome on in. By the way, y'all, we're very close to 2,000 followers. I'm hoping we get there. Lost my mom at 29. Ouch. That's rough. If they'd draft me, I wouldn't complain if they did. I was done at the time. The reason I support the draft is very simple. Wars like Iraq and Afghanistan, because they were fought entirely by volunteers, does that mean our military is better because the people who are in the military want to be there? Yes. As opposed to the Vietnam era, our military is much better these days. It would make our military not as skilled if we had a draft. But if we have a draft, that puts the rest of the country's, you know, the rest of the citizenry, it gives us a stake in the game. We can't just ignore whatever Congress decides to do with the military, right? You can't just send our soldiers off to the desert to fight an unwinnable war with a completely vague, amorphous mission for 20 years, right? We did that. That's what we did. 2001 to 2022, we put our soldiers in harm's way in Afghanistan for questionable benefit. Same thing, Iraq was even dumber. That's why I really strongly detest George W. Bush, by the way. Liked his father a lot, can't stand 43. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get Seasons of the Abyss going. Need to hit another set. I think for this one, do I wanna keep the plates on? I think I will. All right. For this one, would like a form check here. So for those of you who are watching, you know, check me for depth, make sure I'm going on all the reps, count them off. So say, yo, rep 6, you weren't quite deep enough, or whatever. All right. So we're gonna move you guys over here temporarily. This is, again, just to know, it's live streaming hard. What's the CPU usage you need? I'm using a 6-year-old used secondhand refurb laptop, so really depends on what else you want to do, right? Like if I tried Spotify with this, it ain't happening because my computer can really only just run OBS, as an example. All right, y'all have to excuse me, I gotta psych up here. But y'all, what I'm looking for is squat depth. That's crease of the hips, the top of the kneecaps. I should be hitting parallel every single time. And then making sure my spine is neutral. I don't want a rounded spine. Rounded spine's how you get hurt. All right, I'm gonna psych up. Third set. Strong leg pull, come on. Pissed off, let's go. Come on! You ready, balls? It's a nice black minivan. It's not a minivan, it's a Chevy Volt, and it's not mine. I'm gonna go for a motion for a workout in 30 minutes. We're rolling hard on squats. Get that ball, you're deep, perfect. I think the second one was the only questionable. By questionable, do you mean it wasn't deep enough? Was my back grounded? What's going on? We say questionable. I'm gonna do one more set of those, and then the final set I'm gonna do a high bar at 275 or 265. Go for a few more reps. Yeah. Oh, what weight are we on for, all right, I can tell you what weight we're at for citizens of countries that have not landed a man on the moon. That's going to be 315 pounds is roughly 141 kilos. Wasn't deep enough, all the others are good. Okay, cool. I'll take 9 out of 10 for depth. That's good. Every so often, you know, if you miss one. Where's your car? It's, okay. That's my roommate's, okay? My car is, I can't see it from the glare. It's a red Chevy Volt. It's a second gen. This one is a first. My roommate's is a 2012, mine's a 2017. It's small. Actually, it's not even really small. It's only compact by American standards. It'd be mid-size in the rest of the world. Hatchback, seats, mine seats 5. It's got a battery, gets me about 50 miles, and then a little 4-cylinder engine to take me further if I have to go. Low motivation day, hot sauce, you got this shit. How's the charging? Well, because mine's a plug-in hybrid, it's got a smaller battery, and because of that, I can charge mine even on a level 1 outlet overnight. I need to sit down. I'm cooking myself. If I have like a proper level 2 charging station, I can charge my car in 4 hours. The 2019s can charge themselves in 2 hours. But, you know, really the charging's, as long as you can charge at level 1 overnight, it doesn't really matter. That's kind of the use case of the Volt. Is that most of your day-to-day stuff. Basically, I can go anywhere in my county and back home on electric. And then I really only use gas if I go further. How long does the charge last for? About, you know, in the wintertime it'll be closer to 40, 45 miles. In the summertime it'll be closer to 50, 55 miles. I've gotten as many as 70 miles on it before when the battery was brand new and I did a lot of 40-mile-an-hour driving on some back roads. Norway is phasing out plug-in hybrids soon to be treated just like ICE vehicles. Right, because Norway has taken the EV push very aggressively, and Norway has built out a charging infrastructure that actually can support EVs. Here in the rural deep south, we don't have that, so a plug-in hybrid is about the best you can feasibly do unless you want to splurge on a Tesla, and I don't. ICE is internal combustion engine, so a normal gasoline-powered car or diesel-powered car. All right, I gotta prep myself for the 4th set here. Get myself some water. We got one more set of this. Definitely feeling it in my legs, which is good. That's what we want. Actually, no. I'm gonna do a little Metallica here. Let's go Ride the Lightning. But yeah, I stands for internal combustion engine. So this should be good. I mean, it's just the perfect vehicle for me, right? Like, for instance, I'm going to be driving up to DC next week. So, you know, I haven't used the gasoline engine more than just once or twice on a couple of really cold days to, you know, act as a heat generator to keep the battery in good condition. But when I go up to DC, right, I can use the gasoline engine to get me all the way there. And I don't have to stop and try and hunt down a charging station in, you know, very rural North Carolina or Virginia. So it's very nice. So your 70-year-old lady in the gym for the first time to build her bone health vibe. Based. Yes. Spoken oh so eloquently. I'm not a fan of Norway. Can they solve the root problem? The issue is zero mission goes to analysis now zero close to marketability. Yeah, no, for sure. Well, look, I love strong towns and whatnot, but at this point, you got to take improvements where they come. You got to be practical. EVs are not the solution, but they're an improvement. And the big concern about EVs with like battery recycling, we're already drastically reducing costs of battery recycling, and we're finding alternate means, right? One of the big issues people are saying now is, oh, well, with all the wind, solar, and intermittent power sources coming on the grid, we're going to need a ton of storage to handle all of that. Well, where are we going to get all this storage from? Where are we going to get all this battery storage from? Well, the easiest solution is sitting right in front of us. As automotive batteries begin to wear down, right? Let's say, you've got a Tesla Model S that you bought in 2015, and, in a couple of years, the battery range is down to, let's just say, 150, 180 miles. It's not quite enough to where you want to continue driving it. Well, you can take the battery out and turn it very easily into a battery storage pack for your house, which all of a sudden means you can help modulate what the grid has to provide. It's the easiest solution in the world. We've got millions of Teslas that are going to be in that use case, and Bolts and Leafs and Volts and electric Golfs and all sorts of other electric cars over the next 10 years. So people are like, there's a very easy way to solve one problem with another, as opposed to just wasting everything. Raccoon, I'm doing okay. We got 3:15. I'm definitely dogging it a bit right now. I think the biggest reason is I'm talking a lot, and also that I did not eat a ton yesterday. I ate enough, but it's Friday, so I was trying. Well, I didn't quite Catholic fast because I'm still on maintenance, but I ate under my calorie target yesterday by quite a substantial margin. I was like 2,600 calories, which is low for me. That's cut cycle deficit right there. Which is, it's great in the sense that, I woke up today, I was at 231 and change, so I'm already starting to lose a little bit of that bulk weight, but I'm on maintenance. I don't need to be doing that every day yet. I wonder if Tesla's recycling car batteries to make their power walls. I don't think they're doing that, but I do think there's a program to take old Teslas back in and use some of the battery. They might be. I don't know. You'd have to look into that. Okay, just a sore. Seems one respond to us as lifted heavy yesterday. Baller. All right, y'all. Give me a minute. I need to, actually get a set here. This will be our last heavy set. I was going to do 5 sets. I think what I'm going to do is a high bar set instead as my last set. I think 5 sets of squat at reasonably heavy weight, right? This is probably about 70 to 75%. And we're 10 repping it, so that's, I'd call pretty decent. Strong like bull. Strong like bull. Again, if y'all can check my depth, all that jazz, highly would appreciate it. It'd be very, very helpful. Get pissed off. Come on. God help me. Oh, please God help me. They're trying to take me away. I don't want to die. Come on. You can type in exclamation mark PRs to see all my personal bests. Okay. Yes, sir, Big Red. What's up for you? Oh, that needs to get updated. Full body press is now 250, not 225. Otherwise, it's accurate. Uh, 440 is the answer, though, to your question, Raccoon. That's 200 kilos. Everything. No, Niam. I lived in Texas when that happened. Greg Abbott didn't go anywhere. You're thinking of Ted Cruz, our senator, who is a piece of shit, but that's neither here nor there. No, a lot of people like to sit here and blame ERCOT for what happened that winter, and that's stupid. So, I lived in Texas, a bank job. Big Red, I'm hoping you get it, bro. So what happened in Texas during what the locals call Snowmageddon in February of 2021, that was my last week in Texas. I was there for that. If you can hit 265 for 12, I would wager your max is probably somewhere between 315 and 375. That'd be my guess. But the more you train the low rep stuff, the closer to 375 you get. So ERCOT there are three major grids in the United States. A grid for the eastern half, a grid for the western half, and ERCOT, which is basically a grid for Texas. And people really just got on ERCOT shit and blamed them for the power outages and the snowstorm, which was wholly inaccurate. The reason Texas lost a lot of power in that snowstorm is because that snowstorm was the worst since 1885, before electricity was really a thing in Texas. So there was no prior case to where temperatures like that had ever been experienced in the state. As a result, none of the natural gas-fired turbines were designed to withstand those kinds of temperatures without the lines freezing up. And that's exactly what happened. A lot of the gas lines froze up. Because the gas lines froze up, power generation went really far down. That's the reason Texas had the power outages. Not wind turbines freezing, which did happen, but it was a much smaller chunk of the problem than the oil and gas apologists like to admit. The biggest reason that Texas had those power outages in the storm was because, and it wasn't because of ERCOT, it was because the gas turbines were not engineered to withstand cold temperatures like that. And frankly, they shouldn't have been, because no one would have said, yes, that is a worthwhile thing to spend money on. Why would you, right, it's the same reason you wouldn't design your utilities in Minnesota to deal with 105-degree days for, 10 days on end. It just doesn't happen up there. But that's what did happen in Texas. It was an extremely rare event that probably won't happen for a solid 100 years or so, if that. Criticism isn't It is, and it's completely misplaced. If you're using, now there are valid criticisms of ERCOT, but if you're using the Snowmageddon as an argument to why ERCOT shouldn't exist, you don't know what you're talking about. Even if Texas did not have, right, let's just go ahead and say ERCOT didn't exist and Texas was part of either the east or the west power grid, Texas would have still experienced massive power outages. Because the area wasn't, other areas were just as hard affected. Much of Louisiana lost power those weeks. Much of Oklahoma lost power. Parts of New Mexico lost power. Parts of Arkansas lost power. So to get lots of power from other parts of the grid all the way into Texas, which of course, as we know, is a massive state, not really feasible. Wasn't going to happen. So this one, it just bothers me, because I think it's the same reason people like to crap on California. So I understand it, because I love crapping on California. It's just infinitely fun for me to do. But people like to crap on Texas because, hell yeah, Texans are an extremely proud bunch, and anything that takes Texans down a peg is probably something most other states enjoy doing. But frankly, especially Californians, I think most of the criticism during that snowstorm did not come from California, because California has PG&E causing much bigger issues than anything ERCOT does. I don't think I need to, I think I'll let any native Californians in chat, you can rant about PG&E at this time, because as bad as any problems Texas has, I don't think we've ever had a devastating wildfire caused by our utility in the state. A couple oil and gas fires every now and then, but nothing like the Camp wildfire, which was caused more or less entirely by PG&E's incompetence. Even the most diehard California apologists can't defend PG&E. This is why the grids in Kentucky are most stable. We're used to the harsh winters that Texas got. Right, because you get those temperatures frequently enough to where it makes sense to engineer your power plants and your grid lines for them. To reassuming precision, there had to be more to the story. Yeah. You don't want PSE and G as a snare on another option that may be cheaper. Privatization of PG&E was a huge mistake. PG&E in general was a huge mistake. Even before it was privatized, it was not run well. PG&E has gotten even worse run, I will admit that. But no, I just, whenever, I will handle criticism on, there's a meme that I saw going around social media where it's a guy pointing to a map of 49 states minus California and says, oh, I'm sorry, please point to where on this map you live from, and then maybe I'll give a damn about your political opinion. And he says, wait, so you only care about the political opinions of Americans? And he says, yes. And he says, wait, but California's missing. And he says, I'm aware. California should make it so there's other utility options. California's a basket case. I don't really know how else to say it, but I don't know how you fix PG&E at this point. The problem here is multifaceted, because what you've done is California has shut off most of its baseload power generation. San Onofre has gone down, and Diablo Canyon is fighting tooth and nail just to stay online. Well, if Diablo Canyon goes down, yes, California is pumping out incredible amounts of solar and some decent wind too, which is great. I applaud California's commitment to trying to make as much renewable energy as possible, but that's not enough to power the massive amounts of industry California has. So you can either have nuclear or you can have gas, and California is largely choosing gas and lying about it, and also importing nuclear power from Arizona, which is just NIMBYism made incarnate. Now, most of Texas's grid, most of Texas's electricity sector is privatized, and you will notice Texas has some of the cheapest electricity prices in the country. So privatized power corporations don't always equal high prices for electricity. It really does depend on where you're at. And it really does depend on how many competitors. Because one of the things I will say Texas has done very well. Texas is as close to the American equivalent of Saudi Arabia as it comes in terms of, Texas is an energy dynamo. Texas puts out more wind than I think more wind energy than almost any other state in the union. I think the only one that comes close at this point is Iowa. Solar, Texas put up, this is one that'll piss off Californians. Texas put up more solar in 2023 than California, and it's because California's government makes building anything extremely restrictive. So Texas is actually beating California at its own game in terms of new solar installations, which I just find absolutely hilarious, because it's not like it's a downhill battle in Texas either, because you've got oil and gas lobbyists in Texas, and somehow that is still, apparently it's easier to deal with the oil and gas lobby than it is the California state government to build solar power. That's a bit of a damning statement. If you live in the state of California, you should be ashamed of that fact. Your state is so badly run that oil and gas lobbyists are easier to deal with as an adversary. Think about that for a moment. Do more to climate change. See, this is one thing I really like about Texas, is that Texas really has embraced it all of the above strategy. A lot of people don't like, old Governor Perry. When Rick Perry was in office, Rick Perry was the big proponent behind a massive amount of grid lines going from the Panhandle, where it's very windy, and so you get tons of wind power, to the Texas Triangle. That is Dallas, Austin, Houston, College Station, Waco, San Antonio. That triangle where you have the majority of people in the state. So that was a really good idea, and as a result, Texas puts out, obviously, oil and gas goes, that's without saying in Texas. Texas also has a pretty good nuclear sector. You've got STP down in Houston and Comanche Peak out near Granbury, right? Basically, Texas really does have all of the above when it comes to energy production. As a result, Texas produces a shit ton of energy. There's things that, California isn't terrible. I should preface this, okay? I don't hate on California because it's terrible. I hate on California because it's poorly run. There's a difference there. California has the potential to be the best place in the world by a country mile, and California squanders that potential. That's why I'm hard on California, because it's wasted potential. Anywho, I've got to do another set. Let's go ahead, and this one we're going to do high bar, and it's not quite going to be a sissy squat, but it's going to be slightly more narrow stance and heels slightly up. There we go. And now I'm going to do this because I really want to hit them quads. I don't know how many reps we're going to do this for. It's a little bit of an experiment. Only safe place in Texas from snow is El Paso because it's not on the Texas grid. Dude, we just talked about this. You trolling, or did you just get in the chat? Because the grid wasn't responsible for the outages in 2021. Also, someone has never been to the Valley, the Rio Grande Valley. Thank you very much for the 200 biddies there, Needham Reagan. Texas has the gas and oil lobby. California has gas and worker unions. The progressive, very pro-unions. Unions are shit people. There's unions to fight the workers. Unions to police unions as well. Yeah, although really at this point, California is extremely hostile to working with oil and gas as well. In fact, almost all the oil and gas development around Kern County, Bakersfield, and Los Angeles County is drying up because the environmental and bureaucratic red tape is so restrictive that it doesn't make sense to pump oil from there anymore. So a lot of California's oil and gas industry is drying up because they can't compete. You can pump oil from cheaper places, either in the United States, Texas, North Dakota, New Mexico, or internationally, Canada. Right, again, when the Canadians are more willing to work with resource extraction than you are, look, the Canadians have a pretty good environmental record, all things considered. So California just needs to get its head out of its ass. That's my biggest problem with California. It's not that California is a shithole, it's that California is the biggest underachiever because it has the most potential and does the least with it. Like, there are some states, right? Mississippi is never going to be the economic dynamo of the United States. California can be and fails at doing so a lot of the time. All right, I gotta hit this set. Let's go. It's too hot to live in where cars are silly. Silicon Valley, you already noticed the grossest burgers on the planet and they crack in the box. Now, okay. Now, look. I want to hate on California for a lot of things, but In-N-Out slaps. As much as I love Whataburger, it's gone downhill the last few years and In-N-Out is better. I hate saying that to my core. Cookout has also gone downhill, but no, the best fast food burger is In-N-Out, fight me. This is the thing, like, I'm never one of these people, right? I love crapping on California, but they are my American brothers. So I will still stand up for them when they do shit right. It's just, come on, you can do so much better. All right, let's go. Let's do a squat set. Here we go. So this is going to be high bar, and this is going to be a little bit more of a lift on the heels. The idea here is to hit the quads. Oh. Come on. One more. I got one more. That went bad. Come on. God, my chest. Come on. I got calves. All right, that's good. Now move on to fronts. Oh, again, the things California has given us over the years. I'm only hard on California because there's so much potential there for amazing things. Like, that's the thing, right? It's tough love. I think California deserves some tough love. And hey, fair play here. You're in the Southeast, right? I live in South Carolina, as y'all know. I actually was just doing my taxes before I came on stream, and one of the deductions you can get here is for the War Between the States Heritage Fund. You can guess what kind of cause that is. The answer is a lost one. Unfortunately, right, there's shit like that still exists here in the South. And look, I love the South. I am a proud Southerner. Will be till the day I die. But, yo, that ain't it, Chief. So, who wants to live in the middle of bumfuck Iowa? Iowa's lovely. There's nothing wrong with Iowa. Yeah, the winters are harsh, and you do get corn sweat summers. But I tell you what, some of the nicest people in the world live in that part of the country. Don't sleep on the Midwest. It's a great place. I used to live in Omaha, which, yeah, technically isn't in Iowa, but it's right next to Iowa. I hate to say if the governor was okay during his tenure. I love Arnold. Again, regardless of his politics, I just fucking love his life story. Like, if you attend a Siege of Charleston reenactment, you can get a tax credit. Not exactly. It's if you make a donation to the War Between the States Heritage Fund, you can get a tax credit for that by the state of South Carolina. You gotta remember, right? It took a mass shooting by an anti-black racist in Charleston to finally get the Confederate flag taken down off the State House here in Columbia. All right? This is the state that started the Civil War. Don't forget that. A lot of people love to say, oh, the most southern state is either Mississippi or Alabama. I'd probably agree, it's probably Alabama. But I think right in that conversation should be South Carolina. A lot of people kind of forget how heart of Dixieland South Carolina really is. And hell, Georgia would be there if it wasn't for Atlanta. The cornfields aren't going to be desired as popular entertainment and nightlife subs. That's true, but Des Moines is a pretty good town. Iowa City's a great college town, and so is Ames. Iowa State, dude, I'll tell you what, man. You go to a Cyclones game, that is a lot of fun. I promise you that. You ain't gonna be disappointed at a Cyclones game. All right, so next set, we'll move on to front squats, which for that, we do not have these here. And I do need to take a pee, so give me one moment here. By the way, for those of you who ever have questions about where my loyalty or my allegiance lies, Let me make this extremely clear. I'm a proud Southerner, will be till the day I die. But there's a reason, if you notice, that the South Carolina flag hangs a little bit lower than the American flag. I'm a proud American first, always will be. Country. Country over all else. I'm a proud American first and foremost, and there's loads and loads of adversaries out there who want to see our country split itself apart, and it's disgusting and it's not going to work. We Americans have been through plenty of hard times before, and we'll get through whatever hard times that come. Believe in yourself, believe in your fellow countrymen. Very strongly believe in that. Am I from South Carolina? So I'm currently a South Carolina state resident. I'm not originally from here. Because I was born in a military family, the longest I lived anywhere was where I went to college, which was in Texas. As such, I'm really a big fan of calling myself a Southerner. Now, I've lived the majority of my life has been in the South, but I really don't have a hometown, so to speak. South Carolina, I really do like South Carolina. Great barbecue here, second best barbecue in the country. Fight me, North Carolinians. Look, and I'm not saying I'm hating on the pig pick or even the lesser known Western North Carolina tomato-based variety. It's very good, but South Carolina barbecue is the best you can do with pork. The only thing better in terms of barbecue is Texas brisket, which, again, I lived in Texas for long enough to where, I'm gonna think that. Went to Myrtle Beach. I like Myrtle. The only trouble with Myrtle is you get tourists from the Midwest who trash out the place. Honestly, they're not even that bad. It's usually not the Midwesterners that do it. They're usually pretty respectful. It's the Northeasterners. It's people from New York, New Jersey, and Massachusetts that don't. They drive 10 miles an hour over the speed limit on Ocean Drive. Like, what are you doing, man? You're at the beach. Slow down. Enjoy life. I get that you're all fast-paced and all that shit in New York and Boston and, you know, Philadelphia or whatever, wherever you're from. I get that. But, dude, you came down here for vacation. Breathe. Relax. You're here. Enjoy it. Chill out. You know? We talk slow because we like living a slower pace down here. If you want to live a fast-paced life, don't come down to the Deep South. Or if you want a fast-paced life but you don't like snow and, you know, you still want to live in a big city, well, that's what Atlanta's for, because Atlanta's not really the Deep South anymore either. Also, if you like black culture, you're not going to beat Atlanta. J. Cole grew up in a military family, German, because American parents birthed him in Germany on a military base. Nah, that means he's American. So this question came up in the 2008 presidential election because John McCain was actually born outside of the United States on a military facility. But obviously John McCain was, right, if that's the case, you are still an American citizen. So you're still American if that's the case. How are you doing, John? What do you do for traps? Typically, my two biggest exercises are going to be the shrug, either with dumbbells on my sides or the bar in front, and then the upright row, which is you have a bar or dumbbells, and you come up here. Those are the two ones where I hit the traps the most. The other thing I do with traps is all these squats, right? It's going to put a little bit of strain on your traps. So let's go ahead and hit some front squats. That's the next exercise here. We'll go from there. This is 215. I don't know how this is going to feel, how many reps I'm going to do, but we'll see. Hey, we got a follow. Thank you very much. I'll read off who that was after this set. I felt pretty good. I think any more than that, I'm going to be hurting my knees, so we'll go with that. We'll hit a pullover set as well. Thanks, someone. Hey, Notorious. I thought you had already followed. Well, I'm glad you did. We're getting so close to 2,000, y'all. There's a special prize I'm going to give my Discord when we hit 2,000. It's going to be an A&A. If you guys want to ask me anything, in a place where we don't have to worry about Twitch rules at all, we'll be doing that on my Discord. It'll be pretty fun. All right. Nice. All right, so where are we at? We got 2 more sets of front squats, I'm thinking. 1 more set of pullovers. That's going to get us to, let's see, 5, 10, 16, 19. We'll do... We'll do some Bulgarians. That'll give us 27. So we'll do some trap bar deadlifts. And maybe some lunges to finish it off. I like that. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I've never seen this kind of dumbbell before. This is a power block. So the way these work is it's an adjustable dumbbell set where I can select any weight between 5 and 90 pounds, which is roughly between 2 and about 40 kilos. And I can, it's an entire rack in one small dumbbell container. It's a fantastic invention. You're an American, technically German if you think about what soil. No, I don't care. You're an American citizen if that's the case. I mean, Notorious, thank you for the follow. We are slowly getting towards 2,000, which is a good thing. Yeah, we'll do 2 more sets of fronts and another set of pullovers. Then we'll set up for Bulgarians, I reckon. Ooh, the question is, do I want to do trap bar deadlifts as my last? Ooh, that's tempting. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. We'll do Bulgarians, then lunges, and then trap bars. I like it. Speaking of Bama, no comment. Oh, and are you talking about their most recent political decision? It's Alabama. What were you guys expecting? Yeah, they're going to do some stupid shit. They'll get thrown out of the courts eventually. And until, like, right, even Donald Trump's admitting that's not a good idea. I actually am not a huge fan of IVF. I feel like if that's the case, you should try adoption, right? I don't think anyone is that genetically special to where, you need to be spending half your life's fortune, because it's extremely expensive, to have your own baby with your own genetic makeup. Just adopt. It's much cheaper, and you're doing something, frankly, I think adoption is the quickest route to sainthood, if you ask me. Just my opinion. Let's go with a little Nazareth here. We got a 200 bits. Thanks again, Niam. It's a social construct, your own imaginary drawings. No, that's not true. The laws of physics are not a social construct. 2 + 2 is not a social construct. Humans should have all stayed nomadic. That's idiotic. No. before the Industrial Revolution, to quote Thomas Hobbes, I think his first name was Thomas. To quote the philosopher Hobbes, life was nasty, brutish, and short. That's ridiculous. Right now, in 2024, more of us on this planet live in unparalleled prosperity compared to any other time in human history. We're doing great, all things considered. The negativity gets so old. Speaking of politics, I get to vote today. So we're pretty excited about that. I'm excited for that, actually. Yeah, after the stream, I'm gonna go vote. Oh. All right, that's good. All right, we're looking good. We got 11 more sets to go, or 12 more sets to go. Light just went off. Nomadism was based, art is Vito. This is harder than freedom movement than 500 years. Okay, so what? That's a lot of sets. Yeah, my normal workouts are very high volume. I'm doing 30 sets today. Usually that's what I do on my workouts, is about 30 sets. A lot of people say I get into the junk volume territory, and there's probably some pretty valid criticism of what I do on that regard. However, in general, I really like the mindset of the weightlifters in the 1970s and the 1980s. And what they did was just fucking lift the weight and not overthink it so much. Is doing a lot of sets beneficial? I find that it is. Some people will say it's suboptimal, it's junk volume, but it works for me. If I overtrain, I just cut down a bit. Doing more than 4 sets helped me. So, when I say 30 sets, right, this is for all of leg day. So, that's every single exercise I'm doing is a set. So that's including the pullovers, including the raider pulls, including each squat set, each calf set. So right, I did 5 sets of squats, 3 sets of raider pulls, 3 sets of pullovers, 5 sets of calves. This will be my 3rd set on front squats, which is I think the last front squat set we're gonna do. So that's 8 total sets of squats, which I think is about right. In general, prime mover sets, which is your squats and variations on squats, your bench press and variations on bench, your deadlifts and variations on deadlifts, and your press and variations on press. A lot of those real intensive, Olympic style or compound movement workouts, you don't want to be doing 30 sets on that. That's definitely a bit too much. You're probably not hitting each set hard enough if you're able to do that many sets. But you can do more than 4 sets in a day. I think the sweet spot for me is between 6 and 12 sets on the real heavy stuff. So, but you know, I'm not going to do just 6 sets of bench press. I'm not going to do just 6 sets of squat. If I do that, it'll be a pyramid where I'm definitely doing a lot of variations on weight or on reps. But for me, I like going, you know, 3, 4, 5 sets on my main workout, then throwing some variations in. So right, I'm doing front squats here, as an example. Ozzy Osbourne, No More Tears. Great suggestion. Finally, Big A Mikey throwing me a bone with a actually good song to lift to. I appreciate that. By the way, speaking of excellent Ozzy Osbourne songs and the whole ruling in Alabama, for those of you who get really tired of the moral majority, go listen to Miracle Man. That song's hilarious and also a banger. All right, here we go. Ozzy Osbourne, No More Tears. What do you mean, so we're all citizens of Earth? I don't think made-up laws in country should bar a human being from visiting part of this Earth. No. If a country's citizens decide they do not want another country's citizens to visit, that's their right as a nation. I think it's stupid because it's limiting potential economic growth from tourism, but it's their right to do so. And you should not want to visit places in the world that are run by evil or terroristic regimes. Don't go and visit North Korea. Don't give that regime money. North Korea is as close to an Orwellian dictatorship as this world has ever seen. Why on earth would you ever want to sponsor that? Well, I mean, dude, like, go to South Korea for sure, because Korean culture is fantastic. But don't go to, do not give any of your money to one of the most evil regimes humanity has ever seen. Why would you do that? It's insane. Dude, Korean food kicks ass. Although, if you eat Korean food, you will smell like Korean food for the next fucking month, because Koreans use so much garlic. Honestly, I love it, because garlic's delicious. But, dude, if you've been eating Korean, people will know you've been eating Korean. All right. Last set of front squats. Come on. Oh. 2, 3, 4. 2. Come on! That's good. Yes. All right, we're gonna move on to lunges. Actually, need to do a simple trap bar. So do that. Oh, it's gonna feel so good to hit this trap bar. I haven't done this in forever. Oh, someone was asking about traps earlier. The trap bar, predictably, is really good for that. You can do shrugs with this. If you identify with a country, as identify as a human being, you can identify as what you want, but the world doesn't have to conform to your reality. Yeah, your friend's an American. He's a travel blogger. Well, he's not entitled to visit whatever country he wants. That's not how that works. North Korea isn't China. I don't have any civilians. Okay, Niam, you've been reading some propaganda. North Korea has done immense amounts of environmental damage to its own property because to its own land, because they've been doing nuclear testing on their own land, underground. They've been doing plenty of heavy industry, actually. In fact, when Kim Il-sung was the leader of North Korea, North Korea was getting funds from the Soviet Union to try and industrialize their country. And that involved lots of coal mining, lots of steel production, and lots of industrial pollution. So much of what you're saying there is wrong, bro. I'm not trying to be mean, but a lot of that is factually inaccurate. North Korea is as close to a hellscape as you can get on this earth. Eritrea might be the only other country in that level of places you should have no desire to ever go. All right, let's get some lunges on. I'm gonna try these with these shoes. No, I'm not. That's a good way to bust these open. Although, yeah, they're already in pretty poor shape. No, I'm gonna keep them on. So I want to have them for the trip west. There we go. All right, so this is 155. We're gonna do this for more reps, a little bit faster pace. Then we're gonna hit Bulgarians, and then we're gonna hit trap bar deads. Final set, how am I doing? Bro, I still got loads to go. Good to hear you. Good for you, Lesbian Hot Sauce. Y'all, please go give Lesbian Hot Sauce. Mikey, can you give Hot Sauce a shout out for me? Because I got a lot of respect for what you're having to go up against. That takes bravery and toughness. And every day you get in there and you kick ass in the gym and you try your hardest, you are inspiring dozens of people. And I'm so, so amazed by that. By the way, Hot Sauce, I get to vote today. I should not have put a belt on for this. Yep, South Carolina, first for the Democrats, but I'm voting in the Republican primary instead. All right, next sets I'm not using this. Yeah, I'm voting for Haley. I don't agree with her on everything, but Biden was always going to win the South Carolina primary, and he did by like a ridiculous margin anyway. Whereas Haley used to be a pretty good governor here, so I think she's got a decent shot. And frankly, I'd rather have only one senile candidate than two. While I don't agree with a lot of what Nikki Haley says, she's an infinitely better choice than Donald Trump. Barbell lunges are great because you're having to breathe a lot, you get a lot of oxygen in your system, which is why I'm ditching the belt, while having weight on your shoulders. Excuse me. But yeah, I'm voting for Haley for purely tactical reasons. I've gotten a lot of flack for that, but I'm a centrist. Haley is by far and away the closest candidate to the center. So why are y'all surprised? Again, you say, well, why didn't you just vote for Biden in the Democratic primary? Well, one, because Biden isn't there upstairs, and two, Biden was always going to win in South Carolina. Old man Clyburn made sure of that in 2020, and you better believe he did so again in 2024. Clyburn has been a political fixture in this state since the 60s, when the black vote became a thing here, and it's been that way ever since. And Clyburn and Biden go way back, they're buddy-buddy. So Biden was always going to win. So it would have been less politically relevant for me to cast my vote in that primary. Do you want to know how many people in my town voted in the Democratic primary a couple weeks ago? It was actually kind of sad. The answer is 16. There were 16 votes cast in the Democratic primary in my town a couple weeks ago. Yes, I live in MAGA country. This is why, people are like, this is why I will often criticize progressives, because I think a lot of progressives don't quite understand how to talk to rural America. There are a couple progressives that do. There's a guy in West Virginia who is running for the Democratic, I think it's the governor, or not the governor, it's to replace Manchin, Joe Manchin. I would keep your shoes on. Nah, it gives me better balance on lunches not to have them on. I texted Mickey's campaign yesterday. I live in Oregon. Again, I think she's got a better shot in South Carolina because she was a governor here, and she was a pretty good one. Y'all, is South Carolina a perfect state? No, but we have one of the lowest unemployment rates in the country. People are moving here in greater droves per capita than any other state. As a percentage of population, South Carolina is it's getting the most newcomers from other American states. People are coming to this state in droves. We're getting loads of new jobs. Income is up. Wages are up. Really, things are going very well economically here. I think the unemployment rate is something like 2.8%. It's very low. I just need to show me feet. I get used to it. Niam, I'm so used to thirsty people on my channel at this point that I don't care. Again, if you guys want to talk about that sort of stuff, I do have an NSFW chat in my Discord. Patricia says to bend over in strategic ways. I don't care. See, the cool thing is, okay, so somebody makes clips of that. Just go and delete the clips after the show. Anyway, speaking of the religious right, though, as a Catholic, I have strong opinions about my faith, and one of the things I have extremely strong opinions about are the shills, the grifters, the televangelists who prey on primarily elderly people to make a lot of money, the prosperity gospel weasels, guys like Joel Osteen. And one of my favorite songs about that is an older Ozzy Osbourne track calling out Jimmy Swaggart when Jimmy Swaggart got busted hiring prostitutes. It's called Miracle Man, and it's one of my favorite songs. And I love the music video too, because you can see just how happy Ozzy Osbourne is to record it. Because Swaggart was calling Ozzy Osbourne all this horrendous negative shit. And people forget this. Ozzy Osbourne is a dedicated Christian. He worships regularly at the Church of England. So don't fuck with the Prince of Darkness. Ozzy's amazing. Ozzy's a great dude. I have no idea how Ozzy is still alive, but he's awesome. Don't fuck with the Prince of Darkness. All right, here we go. We'll do reverse lunges this time. Let's go. Whoa, balance. posted. Miracle Man got posted. That's 2 sets. Such a hypocritical man. So, okay. The religious right has the same problem that political Islam does. It is, these people who believe that the United States is a Christian nation do not understand what separation of church and state means. And in some cases actively want to get rid of it. And while I do believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and that by believing we may have life in his name, I will not impose my belief on other people. And I have a strong disagreement with, especially around here, right, I live in a town with 8 churches, none of them are Catholic, they are all, I think 6 of them are Protestant, or sorry, 6 of them are Southern Baptist, and 2 are some other form of Protestantism. And one of them is the Black Church, because it's the South, that's just how things are here. Am I gaining body fat? You don't look as lean as before. Crash Override, you haven't been here in a hot minute. I just finished my bulk. I'm on maintenance cycle, so we're just about to begin a cut. So yeah, no, I'm not looking quite as ripped as I normally do. I'm sitting at about 230, 231 pounds. I want your facial hair back. Well, you can want whatever you want, but unless I get a serious demand on my Discord to bring it back, I'm not gonna do it. Yeah, no, 8 churches, none of them are Catholic. I have to cross, my nearest church is across a state line. I have to go into Georgia to find the nearest Catholic church. It's that part of the deep South. Again, that's how much you weigh now? Yeah. I peaked at 236 somewhere in the middle of last week when I was hitting max deadlift. Did I hit on the bulk? I appreciate that. Went to Black Church, I visited the USA, and dude, it was a vibe. Black churches are built different, man. You will be worshiping like 4 hours, but once it's done, then you get the food. That's the other thing too, especially down here in the South. If you want proper South Carolina barbecue, you want to find a black person behind the counter serving it to you. I'm not saying white people can't do it, but in South Carolina in particular, much of the barbecue culture here was defined by what's called soul food. Especially in the low country, right, where historically there are counties even today, Barnwell, Allendale, Bamberg, Orangeburg, that are majority black. And because of that, a lot of the barbecue has heavy soul food influences. So you're gonna get your collard greens, you're gonna get your hash over rice, you're gonna get a lot of cuisine that was developed by first slaves and then former slaves. And it's incredible. It's absolutely terrific. It's also very unhealthy. Taurus and food. Also, Christians who say USA is a Christian country go against the Constitution of organized one organized religion. I agree. California farming, baby. Dude, if you're in California, most of the churches are Hispanic at that point. You get loads and loads of Spanish-speaking churches. And this is how it was when I lived in Texas. Almost all the Catholic churches were primarily Mexican. Like it was mostly Mexicans filling up the pews every weekend, and most of the mass times were in Spanish. That's just how border states tend to be. Border states tend to be very heavy Catholic, but that's because, it's not because there are lots of white Catholics there, it's because there's lots of Hispanic Catholics there. All right, let's get another set done. What's been wild too is there is a strain of political Catholicism that I have an issue with. Now it's all right to disagree with the church on stuff. I disagree with the church on contraception. But there are some people who go to the point of wanting to oust the Pope because he's slightly more progressive about, you know, the things Jesus actually taught, like caring for the poor. And that bothers me a lot. And like, you know, acknowledging that climate change is real. That also bothers me a lot because climate change is going to affect very poor countries the hardest. God, I sound like a goddamn bleeding heart pinko. Come on. 5 more. 17. 19. There we go. And watch this. Because I can. Self-righteous clown. Miracle Man got busted. Miracle Man got busted. Man, I don't understand the people who hate on Ozzy Osbourne. He's awesome. Okay. You're a Church of California Christian baby, and we white not Latin. Oh, hey, that's all good. That's just not typical. I like having most are Hispanic. Yeah. Christian churches in California are Caucasian, not Latin. Huh, interesting. So, in Texas, what I found is most of the white and black churches tended to be Protestant, and most of the Catholic churches tended to be Hispanic. So it's interesting that it's different in California. Speaking of California, I will be in California in April. For those of you who are new to the channel, currently live in South Carolina, but I've got a new job coming up on the horizon to the west. So I'll be driving through Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California, Oregon, and then Washington with a potential flight over to Hawaii. And if you'd like to, if you'd like to meet up, I can probably make that happen. All right. So we're complete with, so what's the temp in here? About 60, that makes sense. So we've been going slow. We still got, fuck me. We still got 8 sets, Bulgarians and then trap bars. Woo, that's gonna be tough. We'll make it happen. Let's get our shoes back on though for these, because I need the pad for the Bulgarians in particular. Hey, Chili, how you doing, bro? Yeah, I know, I'm looking kind of chubby right now. I get that. The love handles will come off. So for those of you who don't know, I finished my bulk 2 days ago. Wednesday was the final day on the bulk, so we've been on maintenance for a grand total of 2 days. Maintenance is just sort of to kind of let my body moderate, get used to a lower calorie intake a bit before diving full hard into the cut. Because I don't recommend going straight from a bulk calorie intake to a cut calorie intake. That's, for me, that's a change of 1,700 calories, which is a lot to put my body through. So I'm gonna go kind of piecemeal. So this week's 3,400, and then next week we'll dive into the cut, which will be 2,700. And yes, 2,700 is a cut for me. No girl, nah girl, you hot. Trust the lesbian who has 0 to gain from saying so. No, I know, I mean, I'm still looking good, but I don't look shredded, right? If I get the absolute perfect lighting and I flex at just the right angle, you can see some abdominal definition, but I don't have a six-pack. I want to get my six-pack back. I miss it and I want it. Is that vain? Absolutely, it's vain. Even though your ass is like God now. As much as I appreciate that, I'm nowhere near the divine. But right, you can see some abdominal definition here, but it's not a six-pack. Shredded beef isn't the only kind of beef. Yes, but it's the kind of beef I want to be. Okay. You're gonna hit Bulgarians and then trap bars. So for Bulgarians, we're gonna want 40-pound dumbbells. We're gonna go ahead and put those on. Nice. Okay, so let's see here. Let's go with, actually, a little topical song. I'll play Anthony's song, Moving Out by Billy Joel. That's a bit too high. Need to move it down. I think you don't know what you're talking about there, man. Yeah, prices for goods are higher in Alaska and Hawaii than they are in the rest of the mainland. That's basic economics. The government doesn't need to subsidize that. Then you've got some things that are a lot cheaper. Fresh fish, cheaper in Alaska and Hawaii. Whoa, lost my balance. Shit. Can I turn around to do that exercise? Probably not. Let me see. If I go, roll it out. Not really. There's not enough space. Sorry, man. Oh, fuck off, sea cleaner. Last row. I want to see the back of your arms. I mean, you know you can redeem channel points to make me flex something, right? Just use that. All right, there are some things that are very cheap to get in Alaska and Hawaii, but some things that are very expensive, right? Pineapples are very cheap in Hawaii. Just as an example, they're also extremely delicious in Hawaii for obvious reasons, right? Fish, very cheap in Alaska. Crab, king salmon, not king salmon, king crab, a lot of salmon runs, trout, stuff like that. Milk is going to be expensive in Hawaii. Yeah, I'm going to have to adjust my diet when I get out there if I choose Oahu. Well, I will, regardless of which one I choose, right? If it's Washington, I won't have to worry too much. Although, in truth, food prices will still be very much higher out there than they are down here. I'm telling you, the cost of living in South Carolina is shockingly low. And I'm ready for a bit of sticker shock, regardless of which opportunity I take. Now, if it's Hawaii, yeah, milk's going to be $7, $8 a gallon. So I'm going to drink less of it. It's very simple. It's called being a rational economic consumer, or a rational economic actor. So I'm going to eat a lot more fish, and a lot more rice, and a lot more soybeans, you know, a lot more food that grows out there, and a lot less beef, and a lot less milk, and a lot less cheese, you know? How's your dating life, by the way? Non-existent. I live in South Carolina. There is no dating scene here. I've lived in a dating Sahara for the last 7 years. All right, second set. Protein powder should be about the same. It's non-perishable, and there are Costco's out there. So I don't think it'll be a ton more expensive. Oh yeah, I'm going to be hitting lots of protein powder out there if I choose that. But I'm not too worried about that. You guys also have to remember, regardless of which place I choose, I will be getting a slight salary increase as well. And if I choose Washington, I don't have to pay state income tax, which means I get a good chunk of my money from that. And if I choose Hawaii, I may not. If I choose Hawaii, I may not necessarily need a car, which means I won't have to pay for insurance, gasoline, or electricity, you know, for that vehicle. Oh. Washington State, not Washington, D.C., Washington State. It would be not in Seattle, but fairly close to it. No, I will be in Washington, D.C. next week, though. I said this earlier. Before my westward journey, I need to go and see my dad's headstone at Arlington one more time. Time for me to stream. All right, Crash, good to see you. Thanks, as always. Good to see you. Yeah, so no, South Carolina is very pretty. I don't think people I think people very much sleep on the natural beauty of the state, but I also noticed that people here are very lazy and don't take advantage of it. Whereas I think people will be more active in Washington and Hawaii. And how do I know this? Well, the obesity rates are quite telling. Hawaii and Washington are among the lowest in the country, and South Carolina is among the highest. Difficult choice to do with better job offer. Really, location-wise, they're both 10 out of 10. Do I want the beaches? Do I want the mountains? Washington has the advantage of being with family. Hawaii probably has a slightly better dating scene on both sides of the spectrum. Washington, I'm going to be dealing with, not to be rude, but a lot of soy boy style men and blue-haired 300-pound feminists. And look, if you're into that, more power to you, but I'm kind of not. Neither of those are something I'm interested in. Whereas Hawaii, I'm going to have a lot of, you know, military people. Now that Don't Ask, Don't Tell is gone. And then island girls, you know. Plus, the coolest thing with Hawaii, too, is, actually, Washington's pretty good about this, too. Both states are very diverse in terms of, like, ethnic and racial diversity. So, you know, you get a lot of variety in terms of dating. It's not just going to be white people, or here it's white and black, that's it. All right, let's get another set going. Right, obviously, right, there are people in Washington State that are, you know, more to my taste in terms of dating. But like, there's a reason Seattle in general as a metro area has the stereotype that it does. I'm just not into that. You're gonna go Hawaii, get that strong military D for sir. Well, I mean, I may get to choose. I'll have a lot of choices out there. All right, third set. Also, you're saying, get that strong D as though I'm a bottom. I think you're making an assumption there that isn't necessarily true. Could be, might not be. Shit. What the hell? Fucking headphones cut out there. Hopefully that doesn't get me copyrighted. All right, we got one more of those and then 4 sets of trap bars. Yes, I'm listening to Police on My Back by The Clash. That's a good song. They might have been pinkos, but they were damn good musicians. South Carolina doesn't have any Asian, Hispanic, or Middle Eastern people. Very few. those that are here are in the big cities. Columbia, Charleston, the Strand, what's called Metrolina, that is the South Carolina chunks of the Charlotte, North Carolina metro area, Greenville, Spartanburg, very few around my neck of the woods. Again, I live in the, okay. If I were to explain my town, if you crossed the Andy Griffith Show and the Dukes of Hazzard, you would get my town. My town's about 75, well, not quite, but about 70% white and about 30% black. Sub 1% everything else. Well, Washington State or Hawaii, not DC or New Jersey or Maine. DC didn't have the job available. I don't want to live in New Jersey, and I have no interest in living in New England either. I have family on the West Coast. I'm tired of not being near my mom. That's a huge draw for me in Washington. I miss seeing my family only like once a year sucks ass. And then, well, with Hawaii, look, especially as I trim out, I'm gonna have them beach himbo vibes. Why wouldn't you want to be at the best beaches in the world? All right. Well, we gotta keep going. No, damn it. Ugh. Not cooperating today. Come on, you son bitch. We'll do that. Nice. Come on. What's wrong with New Jersey? Taxes are high, living costs are high, weather is not good. And yeah, strong towns and it's walkable and all that jazz, but there are parts of the western half of the country where I'd rather try that too. I don't, and people are unfriendly in the Northeast. That's the other part. Granted, they are in Washington as well. You get that coldness in the Northwest, but I don't really like the Northeast. I'm not a Yankee. I don't want to be a Yankee. And again, my job, my industry, doesn't have work up there. Okay, one more set. And then, whoa, missed it. Oh, okay. Go with the dumbbells. Good. The Northeast does not appeal to me. That's the biggest reason. Ugh. Traffic. It's overcrowded. I'm good. And people are just not very friendly. Pace of life's a little bit too fast. I'll put it that way. Okay. So, I think with this, we're gonna go with, this will be 320 pounds. I think that's a good starting point for trap bar deadlifts. We got 4 sets of these and then we're done. I will need my belt for this. Okay. Where's that other clip? There it is. It's up here. A little bit of water in our system and with us. What do you mean by high taxes and expensive? New Jersey may be cheap compared to New York City, but New Jersey is not cheap compared to South Carolina. Living up in Hoboken. Right, okay, Liam, let me try and explain this one more time, okay? There are no jobs in my industry in that part of the country. Does that make sense? Right? Consider what my industry is. New York just shut down the Indian Point plant. That's the closest one to the New York metro area. The nearest one, I believe, I think there is one in New Jersey. So I'm anti-density? No, I'm not anti-density. Jesus Christ, you're missing what I'm saying. The West Coast is not all sprawl. Large chunks of it are, but not all of it. Okay. Let's get a little motorhead going. Yeah, I like the version from No Sleep Till Hammersmith. It's even fucking more metal. I haven't done trap bar deadlift in a hot minute. Let's do this. I'll take 7. That's good. You have a few RP there, but I don't need to go balls to the wall quite yet. We'll stay at 320 for the rest of the workout. We got 3 more of those, then we're done. So I'm trying to explain to you, doesn't appear to be sinking in. I'm a nuclear engineer. For a variety of reasons, the Northeast does not have the nuclear power plants in places where I want to live. There are a fair amount of nuclear power plants in upstate New York, but I don't really like 6 months of snow. Well, we did keep it until the 1920s. And then it got much worse as a consequence of the Interstate Highways Act of 1956, which, of course, as we know, has been a disaster for American society. Yeah, update the counter. Nobody relaxing here. Come on. Come on. 3 more sets. Now, my mind's made up though. I'm already through the interview process. The security clearance has come in. It's gonna be either Washington or Hawaii, okay? Like, that's how it's gonna be. You're not gonna convince me otherwise at this stage. We're beyond that point. Come on, come on. Strong leg pull, come on, strong leg pull. Two more. We're not done yet. Yeah, more. Remember me now, more. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Oh, I don't live in Portland. There's too much crime there. Oh. So, the areas I'd be moving to are fairly connected to public transit. Right, in terms of where my jobs would be. For those of you who haven't figured it out yet, there'd be jobs with the Navy. So one would be at Pearl Harbor, right? That's really the only nuclear job you can get in Hawaii. And Pearl Harbor is on the leeward side of Oahu, which is fairly dense and actually fairly walkable. In fact, there's even public transit there. Whereas, oh, that took a lot out of me. I got 2 more of those sets. Fuck. Washington would be not quite in a major metro area, but it'd be in Bremerton. Bremerton is a hop and a skip away from Seattle through the ferry system. So decide yes. There's no check to FDR. System. Cars, streetcars, buses. FDR didn't design the interstate system. That was Eisenhower. The interstate highway system. The interstate oh, okay, I need to. Y'all have heard that rant from me. I'm not going to say it right now. I need to breathe. I got 2 more sets. I need to focus on finishing the workout strong. We'll talk more when I'm done. Two, and then 3, and then 4, then you go. One more. We got 1 more set, y'all. 29 sets down to go. Get stuck in traffic. Hawaii has a rail system that they're building. How good is the frequency? Dude, I don't know off the top of my head. Go look it up yourself. You have to forgive me, but the blood is not flowing up here right now. CSM, I'm not far from that. All right. Give yourself a break for just a moment. We'll hit this last set. I'm gonna try for 10, and that's gonna be it. I will say, we're not going to do a ton of Q&A. It'll be a short thing today because I need to go and vote. All right, feeling a little bit better. I needed oxygen. Or just a tick over 2 hours from the first working set we did. Moving there. Maybe the walks transit store. Oh, I gotcha. The parts of the island near where I'm at are going to be, you know, you can find where Pearl Harbor is on a map. That's fairly good. What I want to do, if I can, is get me an e-bike and use that as my transit. However, the Navy does pay for public transit, so, you know, if I have to use the rail or I have to use the buses, that's not a bad system. Frankly, with an island as small as Oahu, owning a car is kind of silly anyway. Just use the bus. You know, worst case, if you want to go across the island, say you want to go to Kaneohe, or if you want to go to the North Shore, and you know you're surfing, first off, just make friends. One of them will be bound to have a car. Second off, you can always just pay an Uber to go over there. It's not a huge island, so it's not going to cost you that much. Sausage, shoes, walk, train score. Yeah. All right. All right. I need to hit it hard for my last set, so we're gonna go with "Till I Collapse" by Eminem. No. I've looked at it. I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head because blood no flow up here. I'm doing this. I'm moving heavy pieces of metal. So blood no flow right now. Me no talk so good. Come on. That's it. Strong like bull. Come on! Ugh. That's it. I think that was 10. Look at these calluses shredding bits of my hands up. Look at that. All right, we'll hit some abs, we'll do Q&A, we'll go from there. That was hard. I was really pushing at those last few sets. Or those last few, well, yes, and those last few reps, both. You know South Carolina's minimum parking laws? No. Probably depends on the city or local ordinance. Look, all this urbanist shit is awesome. But I live in the fucking sticks. Until I leave this place, none of it really applies to me. Like, it's all just theory to me until I exit. By the US Census's definition, I live in rural America. I'm not an urban dweller. Look, I love urbanism and I love nerding out about it, but it's all just theory for me right now. Will I try to be an advocate of stronger towns when I move to a place that is actually urban? Yes, but there's no point in doing it out here. Holy shit. Okay. I'll start hitting abs. We'll do Q&A, and we'll probably call it quits. Holy shit. Really, really hard. We'll just try and breathe for a second. Fuck. Do that, don't exit. No, I'm not staying here. Fuck that. No. I am not staying in South Carolina. This is not my hometown. I deserve better. My town in South Carolina has less than 2,000 people. Look, all the urbanist orange-pilled stuff in the world is not going to change the fact that this is a small town, is never going to grow to the point to where any form of urbanism makes sense. Right? Now, if you want to talk about a nearby city, the nearest city to me is Augusta. And yeah, Augusta could absolutely use some of the urbanist stuff you're talking about. But that's in Georgia. So as a South Carolina resident, I don't have a say. Workout streams. So frustrating for you at times, it seems. Just doing the best I can because I'm trying to hold this high-level intellectual conversation while also putting my body to the absolute limit. And I get frustrated at myself because I can't elaborate what I'm trying to say as easily when the blood's not flowing to my head. You'll have to give me a little bit of, cut me a little slack here. But no, right, I love urbanism, but urbanism only makes sense in urban environments. I don't live in an urban environment right now. I live in a small town of under 2,000 people. It doesn't make sense. Look, you can go full on Dutch. Even with a Dutch style of layout, my city would not be connected to any form of public transit. His mind is set on moving. Yeah, no, my mind is already made up. A little leeway while he's lifting. Yeah, I love having these intellectual discussions, but it's harder for me while I'm in the middle of a lift. As I'm cooling down here doing some abs, I can elaborate on what I'm trying to say a bit better, but yeah, when I'm in the thick of it there, it's a bit difficult. All right, what I am gonna do is lay down a shirt and hit jackknives. Those are the hard ones. I'm gonna hit, actually, speaking of Arlington and going up there to see my dad again, I'm actually going to play Goodnight Saigon. It's a good song for this. I think this town has potential. You don't even know what town it is. Rural places or remote villages of 500 people in Switzerland and the Netherlands that have amazing cycle infrastructure, 24/7 high-speed rail or trams. My guy, you're going to have to realize sometimes you're going to punt. That's just, nobody wants that here. Traffic isn't a problem, the roads are already built, and everybody already owns a car. There are better places to put one's efforts. It's not gonna happen here. Look, within South Carolina, there are plenty of cities that could stand to have better urban planning. Greenville, Spartanburg, Columbia, Charleston, all the cities on the Grand Strand, Lexington, even North Augusta, Aiken, Greenwood. But my town, which again, it isn't even a city, it's a town, is not one of them. I love urbanism, but urbanism is hard to make happen in a literally census-defined rural place. Oh, okay. Trust me, man, I know what the people in my town want. I interact with them on a daily basis. I know, Hot Sauce, you were asking me about math. I'll answer that question in a minute. Fuck. Come on. 11 more, finish. Oh, this cut's gonna suck. I'm out of gas. 3 more sets. Okay, so how much in the way of math? I wasn't sick, I would move if a new job came along. Oh, yeah. I'm moving for work and life, and I'm mostly moving for life, but in recent months, my job has been pissing me off. They're not serious about giving me promotion, but they want me to do a grade above me's level of work with no extra pay. So I'm not really cool about that. But how much math do I use on a day-to-day basis on my job? The answer is it depends. What I do out there is mostly reviewing design work from design agencies. So things like engineering drawings, calculations. But what I also do is review requirements compliance and regulations compliance. This is why I rail so hard against the government here, because I understand and have to work with on a day-to-day basis how absolutely incredibly burdensome nuclear regulations are in this country. This is why I'm not some big government progressive. My work life prevents me from being one. I don't have that level of trust in the government to legislate effectively. Oftentimes it's good intentioned legislation that turns out to do the opposite of what it's intended to do. You've got lobbying and regulatory capture and all sorts of reasons for that, but the short aspect of it is, as far as math is concerned, I'll have a lot of calculations to review. When I have calculations and drawings to review, that often requires a bit of math. And that can range from things like airflow to controls logic. It can range from some process-related items that I can't talk about to all sorts of things. Maybe when you retire, you can unretire and become a politician. I've thought about that. I don't think I'd ever want to go to the federal level. People would start making pretty slanderous accusations at me pretty quickly, because I think in some instances I would have a little bit too much in common with a one Javier Milei. I know a lot of people have downers on him, but Argentina just posted a budget surplus for the first time in 12 years. I don't know if his approach will work, but I think the Peronist politicians need to get the fuck out of the way and let him try. Argentina has suffered failure after failure under their existing leadership. They might as well try something new. And Argentina's state is so corrupt that at this point, purging most of the state is probably the best move. You have to remove the cancer. It's just, and I don't like to compare burgeoning bureaucracy with cancerous growth, but that country has seen its government become increasingly corrupt, increasingly malicious, and increasingly more wasteful. So it's an incredible burden on the Argentinian economy, which is not a good thing. And rent just went up by 20% in the big cities. Yikes! Governor Milkback of South Carolina. I would not run for governor here. I would get demolished in a landslide. I'd get primaried really quickly if I ran as a Republican, and if I ran as a Democrat, I'd get laughed out of the room because I'm not black. The only real bedrock of Democratic support in this state are college students in Columbia, for whom I would not be progressive enough, and black people who prefer to vote for a black politician. Sorry. If I was gonna run for governor of a state, it wouldn't be South Carolina. I wouldn't ever win. I'd have to pick a fairly purple state, so Ohio, Pennsylvania, Georgia, North Carolina maybe, but South Carolina is too conservative for me to ever win here. Who the fuck is voting for Biden? Seriously? here in South Carolina, do you want the honest truth? It's the black vote. I know that's politically incorrect to say, but look, old man Clyburn knows how to whip his voters. He knows how to drum up support. I'm using whip in the congressional sense here, by the way. Don't get all triggered at me for saying that. That's what Clyburn has always been able to do. I mean, there's a reason the Clyburn family is a political dynasty here. There's a reason Clyburn is the only representative on the South Carolina side that, you know, he controls the Democratic district. Now, of course, his district is super packed because the Republicans like to gerrymander the state, which means 6 out of 7 representative seats are going to be Republican, pretty much locks, including mine. But, yeah, there's the answer. Arizona's a purple state. Yeah, but I have no interest in ever living in that state. It's going to run out of water. I like states that have enough water. Arizona doesn't. Liberals are also on the southern coast. Not really. Not at Hilton Head. Hilton Head, that's hardcore Republican territory. That's, you know, the Mitt Romney style Republicans, I'll grant, but Republicans are all the same. Kiowa, okay, Kiowa is a Biden stronghold, but that's because Biden goes on vacation. And Kiowa is a very tiny population. Those are your limousine liberals. All right, let me hit another set. Most people are not voting for Biden, by the way. Most people are voting against Trump. And the converse for Trump, most people are voting against Biden. All right. Yeah, I live in MAGA country. Okay, my town, I think, I'm gonna just that. Hang on. Finish. Oh, God, the pain's killing me. Oh, one more set. So, you see a Trump victory? I don't think so. I think it really depends on, is it bulking season? Evan, it was. I finished bulking last week. I'm on maintenance right now. Because of the loss in calories, I think I'm dragging ass a bit. Maricopa County's first ever car-free community. Yeah, I've heard about cul-de-sac Tempe. Mr. Money Mustache actually is moving there as a big influence of mine. I appreciate a lot of what he has to say. So if you spread the news on cul-de-sac, I'd love to see more of them. I agree, I'd like an age cap on political service. If you're eligible for Social Security, you should no longer be able to run for office. You can finish out your term, but you can't run for office. So for me, because I think the age of Social Security is far too low, it's unsustainably low, I think we need to raise the age in this country of Social Security to a bare minimum of 73, tie it to life expectancy, And then that should be the age cap, so 73. Maricopa is Canada, there's a cul-de-sac. Just don't do it in July. Tempe is miserable in July. 120 degrees is not pleasant. I don't care what. I don't care if it's a fucking dry heat. Nah, cul-de-sac Tempe looks pretty baller. I've seen pictures. It's pretty expensive, but that's how it's always going to be at first, right? This is, because it's the first of its kind, it's got to be a proof of concept. To be a good proof of concept, it has to turn a profit. To turn a profit, you're going to want higher margins. With higher margins, you're going to want to go with luxury housing. And yeah, you're going to say, well, that's not affordable. That's not good for the community. It's not, it's not a practical solution. When you do this, right, you learn lessons. The company who's building this is going to learn lessons about how to build things better and cheaper. And when they do that, then they can lower their prices. This is called economies of scale. Strip malls don't need every space used at the same time. I agree with the parking minimums. That is a very easy government regulation we could get rid of. Opinion of a New Yorker, our city's quite liberal at this point, and most of our mega wealthy families are conservative. Are you part, I assume that means you live in the city and not the better part of New York, which is upstate and western New York. Fight me. I have a lot of friends who are Bills fans. They wanted me to say that. Actually, real talk, I really do like western New York. It's beautiful in the summertime. I don't ever want to be there in January. But yeah, I am, okay, so, right, you guys can kind of tell, right, there's some abdominal definition, but there's not quite as much. Or relax, I don't look fat, but I get a little extra body fat, Upper East Side, Gossip Girl stole my childhood. I have never been to New York City. The closest I've ever been is Newark Airport, and every New Yorker has told me that doesn't count. Although I do want to visit the 100% best part of New York City. Evan, you know what the best part of New York City is, right? Building housing on top of strip malls. Well, mostly because strip malls are probably not qualified to have that much of a load on their ceilings, so you probably need to re-engineer the building. It's cuffing season, bulking season, funny. Nah, it's not bulking season anymore. I'm on maintenance. No. Maintenance is gonna be for the rest of this week. Then next Thursday I begin cut. I'm at 230, I'm between 230 and 235 body weight right now. We're cut down to about 210, 215. I'm gonna look fucking fabulous. The Hamptons, nope. The Hamptons isn't even in New York City. That's way out on Long Island. Long Island, closer, but for me, I think the answer is Staten Island. That's the best part of New York City, clearly. Okay, I can't say that with a straight face. I had to do it. I had to say it because that pisses off. Every single time I've said it to a New Yorker, they get really angry with me, and it's just really funny. No, the real answer is Coney Island. I'm not going to give you a serious answer here. Maintenance doesn't fit the rhythm of the song, though. Yeah, I mean, well, I'm not too worried about the song. All right. Last set, and then we're going to do a little Q&A. We'll probably look to rate someone because it's getting up near noon, and I need to go vote. 10 more. Woo! All right, we're done with that. By the way, for any runners out there, yeah, There we go. Bro, the haka is the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen any sports entity do. I get angry about New York and Music City, out of state pursuit careers. Generally speaking, New York is like all of New York are quite nice. Really, so now, what I've heard is that all New Yorkers really fucking hate Staten Island, which is why I like to troll New Yorkers with that answer. All right, a little water. I'm gonna pull up with the journal, and we'll talk Q&A. But it won't be for long, because I gotta go vote today. Let's see. Knock off abs. There we go. Good. So, all right. What we did today, to recap, we had 4 sets of squat, 10 reps apiece at 315 pounds. We mirrored that with sets of 15 on calves. Then we did high bar, high wedge under my heels, a set of 10 at 265, really working on that quad drive. Mirrored that with a set of 20 on calves. We had 3 sets of reader pulls and 3 sets of pullovers. That is 10, 16 sets. We had 4 sets of Bulgarian split squats at 40-pound dumbbells. That's 20 sets. We hit 3 sets of front squat at 215. That's for 6 reps apiece. That's 23 sets. We hit 3 sets of lunges at 10 reps at 155. That is 26 reps. And we finished it off with trap bar deadlifts between 7 and 10 sets at 320 pounds. That's 30 sets, and we're good. We're done. It was a good leg day. Feeling pretty sore, but not like I want to die. Just about where I want to be. STEM, politics, and working out the perfect intersection. I'm doing the best I can. True New Yorkers have enough to live out of New York, from what I've seen. That's probably true. I don't know. I've never been to New York City. I'd love to visit, but I have no interest in ever living there. The speed of life is just too fast, and the weather isn't very good. I'm a Southerner, man. I don't like 6 months of cold weather. Fuck that. 95 is just a nice, lovely summer's day as far as I'm concerned. Like most New Yorkers, they see 95 out and they start melting. Again, that's where I've lived here the last 3 years, and before that I lived in Texas, which is an even hotter state. New York City seems gross to live in. I wouldn't say that. I mean, the subway supposedly smells like piss, but you know, and there's a rat problem, but like that's not the end of the world. New York City's fairly clean. It's a lot cleaner than it was, say, in the 70s and the 80s, for what it's worth. Of course, it's also why it's a lot more expensive, but you know. STEM, politics. What was that? Huh. Something's going on over in my neighbor's house. That's not my problem, though. So, let's talk a little bit about the future of this stream in the short term. So in the long term, I'm moving west, either going to be Washington State or Hawaii. So if you live in the following states: Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, California, Oregon, Washington, or Hawaii, come hang out with me on the Discord. You can type !Discord in, and you can see for yourself what you can, you know, whether or not we can hang out, you know, meet up, maybe go for a lift together or something like that. Now, that's the longer run. In the shorter run, so tomorrow we'll have a regular stream. I think I'm actually going to make it a boxing stream, so it's going to be a little bit of cardio. I could also do a RuneScape stream, a rest stream, but I've done a lot of that for a while. Piss and rats and cold. I mean, hot sauce, lesbian hot sauce, you have that. It's just called Birmingham. It's the same fucking concept. Actually, Birmingham's more like, I don't know, Cleveland here. But in the short run, your hair is often do you get it trimmed up? Whenever my roommate feels like trimming it. She likes to do it, so I let her. Then stay living in Los Angeles, sweating my balls off. No, I like warm weather. I like the beach. I'm I want to get absolutely shredded, right? This is probably the last bulk I'll ever do to this extent. I want to cut, and once I'm done my cut, I feel pretty content with where I will be physically. I think I'm going to probably just, work on maintaining the form that I will be at, getting into better shape for, physical fitness and such. I will continue to stream no matter which place I go to. I don't know what exactly the stream will look like yet. There's a lot of moving parts involved. I will try my best to be active on the Discord and stream on here to the extent possible over the coming months. Right now, the schedule will stay the same until I've got more information. But in the short term, so I'll stream tomorrow. It'll probably be a boxing stream and then Q&A. Probably won't be the longest stream in the world. It'll probably be, maybe an hour, hour and a half. But next week, I will not be live, okay? So I will stream tomorrow. That's the 25th. I will not be live until I think March the 7th. I'm going to take all of next weekend off because I will be going up to Washington, D.C. The reason is because I've got a lot of family I want to see there before I head west. And I want to see my dad's stone at Arlington one last time. That's going to be a pretty somber occasion, but I got to do it. It's not going to be easy. That one's going to be hard. But if you guys are if any of y'all are in around the DC area and you want to hang out, hit me up on Discord. I can try my best to make it happen. Same thing if you live in the Richmond or Raleigh areas. Do IRL, just some just chatting streams, love to see your kind of cross-country road trip. That will probably happen. Well, we'll see. We'll see. See your dad? Okay, for those of you who don't know, my father served in the United States Air Force from 1985 to 2014. Due to his service, he passed away in 2020. He was interred with full honors in Arlington National Cemetery. As far as I'm concerned, my dad was a hero for his service to this country, and he's a hero to me personally for the way he raised me. So it's going to be hard, but I need to go and do that one last time before I head west. So there you go. It's spilling a little personal beans there for you. But no, the people ask me, I appreciate that, but man, I'm never sad about losing him. It's hard to think about it, but I'm always grateful for what I got. That's how my dad would want it to be. So. By the way, Notorious Gamer, appreciate the follow. So I think that's going to be it for us today. We're nearing on noon, and I need to go vote. So I also need to get some food in my stomach because it was Friday, and so I didn't eat meat. I kind of underate yesterday. I'm kind of feeling a little bit lightheaded, especially after all that heavy lifting. So we're going to figure out who we're going to raid today. Let's see, we got C-Dub, BitLife, Bam Bam, Holder. We just doing MMA? Yeah, let's hit a Holder. All right. Oh, God, my legs. So, raid message is Bull Rush. All right. We're going to raid the Holder. Hey, FireKid491, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate that, my man. We're getting close to 2,000 followers on here, and if y'all want more, come join the Discord. That's going to be it for me today. Raid the Holder. Heck. All right, so we're gonna raid Holder Heck today. Thank you very much, 200 bits, Niam. We don't have time to talk about all that at the moment. We can talk more about that on the Discord if you want. Niam, I'm surprised you haven't joined the Discord, or if you are, that you're not active there. A lot more going on in there off hours. So, y'all, raid messages, Bull Rush. Thank you all very much for showing up. Thanks for the bits and the follows, y'all. As always, make good decisions. Those good decisions form your actions. Those actions form your habits. Those habits form your values. Those values can be the guide star. Those values can form an ethos, can be the guide star through the rough waters of life. Much love, y'all. Come in for the hug. Fuck, my legs are killing me. Oh. Okay. All right, YouTube. It's been